Thank you for joining me again on TMI Tuesday as we x-ray issues on the hike over the fuel increase and, of course, the electricity tariff. Agitations are up against this hike on fuel and electricity tariff as Nigerians are really raging in this direction of ensuring that the government reverses this development to the way it used to be. Well, looking at it, but the federal government did say that it's going to protect Nigerians who can't really afford the cost-reflective increase, basically looking at the area where those who enjoy minimum of 12 hours of electricity supply and over will be made to really get this adjustment on electricity tariff. And then we look at the subsidy removal, where the APC government of President Muhammadu Buhari took the courage to really take this bold step. And then we're having issues about prices going up and what should be done in this regard. Even as the labor unions before now, we are proposing a strike. But well, we'll see how that development turns out. Discussing this vital issue with me, starting from my extreme left, I have the ex-SSA on legal matters to the governor of Edo State, Adams Aliyu. Adams Aliyu is a constitutional lawyer and notary public of Nigeria. Thanks for coming, Adams.
Thank you very much, viewers.
And next, I have an articulate and the general overseer of Sword of Liberation Bible Church, Bishop Austin Igbasan. Thanks for coming, Bishop.
Thank you for having me, and good morning, viewers.
Well, I choose to start with you, Adams Aliyu, looking at what is happening, agitations on the increase, and the presidency did defend that, well, it is in the right direction for subsidy to be removed in order to see how the economy can pan out in favor of Nigerians. But do you see this step as being in the right direction, as the presidency did say, Adams?
Well, as you said, there is agitation, there is demonstration, there is protest. When I look at what we are protesting at, it must be based on two factors or one of them. One is that the price is too high, or that the president did not seek their opinion before he mentioned, or before PMS mentioned the new price. It must be one or the two, or both of them. So let us look at the price, the new price. Now, the former price, 131, 138, was because the subsidy was not removed. Now that the subsidy is removed, because the presidency has said that it cannot continue to borrow money to subsidize fuel. And once you remove the subsidy, and Naira keep on falling, last week it fell up to 400 and something to $1. I think now it's about 380, 390. It must affect the price of fuel. And when you remove the fuel subsidy, the price will go up. And if you look at this in a contemporaneous barometer, you will see that in all the countries of ECOWAS, West African countries, Nigeria is still the least country that has the least amount of fuel at 162. The nearest to it is Liberia, which sells for 257 per liter. And the highest, I'm limiting it to West African sub-region, is Senegal, 549 naira per liter. All other countries in West Africa, from République Populaire du Benin to Burkina Faso to Cameroon, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Guinea, Gabon, they all sell between 300 naira and 500 naira. So luckily now, there is no more queue, as it were, so the fuel is available. And the removal of the subsidy is predicated on market value. So that is one. The second one is that the president, if we were demonstrating, we have right to go to court. But we will not succeed in court because there is a subsisting judgment by the Supreme Court. Some people went to court once upon a time when fuel was increased from one court to the other, ending the Supreme Court, which gave a verdict that the Minister of Petroleum is the only person authorized to increase fuel. There have been many ministers of petroleum, David West, Dizeli Maduke, but this time around, the president said that he will double or even triple himself as the petroleum minister. So he is the Minister of Petroleum now. And the court, Supreme Court has said that he has the local standing to increase fuel. So the PPMC that announces it is just a conduit pipe and a megaphone to re-echo the president's something. Then you try to talk of...
You're talking about the PPPRA?
That's public,
the PPPRA, yeah.
Petroleum Product Marketing
Regulatory Agency.
And if you could remember that in November 1, for the electricity tariff, November 1, 2013, the electricity affair power was privatized. Individuals now get it, and they are now in charge. But the fault they are making is that whereas Nigerian population is increasing, we are getting many, we have more children, many people are using electricity, many people have many electrical appliances. So the metering system is inadequate. They don't have enough prepaid meter. They only have billing, estimated bill, which is very obnoxious. So if we have been guaranteed 24-hour supply of lights, well, so be it. But a situation where you have only 6-7 hours per day, it is worrisome.
Okay, so you don't agree with the increase in electricity tariff when improvement on electricity supply is yet to be noticed?
It will be, well, it will be manageable in as much as there's no darkness, as you get value for your money. Just like fuel. Once upon a time, we had to queue in fuel station for days before you get supply, but we don't get it now. And as I said, the presidency said it cannot continue borrowing ad infinitum to subsidize fuel. And I have given an analysis that in all other countries in sub-region, Nigeria is still the least place where fuel is sold.
Well, you heard what he said, what the constitutional lawyer said about that, and making comparison with Nigeria and other West African countries. Do you seem to agree with what he analyzed?
I don't agree. I didn't agree with him because, one, I want to say this federal government is insensitive to the plight of the people. And I take them back to what they said when they were campaigning. While some of us were campaigning and we're talking about antecedent of two candidates then, a lot of people told us that the present president was a minister of petroleum many years ago. And that I remember vividly that Professor Tam West of blessed memory said specifically that when people vote for Buhari, that fuel is going to be 40 naira. In the international market, the oil is falling, and yet we are buying it at a very high price. Now you increase fuel, you did not increase salary. This, in the days of Jonathan, we were talking about 100 naira per liter. This same president led protest against it, even from 65 per liter. And now today, without consultation, the first time, because I was listening to the constitutional lawyer when he was packaging it for them. Now, where the first time that the president increased, I remember during Jonathan, we have saved Nigeria. Pastor Tunde Bakare, Femi Falana, and so many people, they shut down Ojota for almost seven days. The country, the whole economy was shut down because of we are going to 100 naira per liter. And then the excuse then was that we want to remove the fuel subsidy, and protest was all over the place. Now it was reversed. When the sitting president now want to increase fuel, there was no consultation. I remember vividly that the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, was also in UK. It was from UK that the president increased, it was taken from 80-something liter to 100 and something liter. They have succeeded to divide the labor union. The NSC then that will laugh stood up to be able to fight for the masses, fight for the poor, has been fashionalized that they were not speaking with one voice. So there was no consultation. It was a unilateral decision, an announcement that was made.
Okay, about but again, let's look at it on the side, because even the presidency did say that the president will no longer fix prices on this commodity because fuel subsidy is out, and so is allowing the market forces to determine the prices.
Allow me to talk as you allow the constitutional lawyer to talk. So what I'm saying is that there was no consultation. I'm trying to build on the antecedent of the sitting president, who used to be a minister of petroleum, and one of the campaign standpoint then was that, oh, it's going to be 14 naira. That's why I quoted what a professor, one of the best minister of petroleum we have in this country, quoted, and it's from Niger Delta, that when Buhari comes to power, it's going to be 14 naira per liter. And you remember vividly that when fuel was increased then, in the international market, the fuel price was down. We ought to enjoy a down price, a low price at that time when we went to 100 and something naira per liter. And the agitation for workers to even have minimum wage is being tossed left and right, front and back. But it was a decision, just like you make a decree and edit in the military rule, that you just announced. There was no consultation. Nobody was consulted. The president was in UK when he announced that the fuel was increased. And no agitation, nobody was consulted, nobody, the plight of the workers and the laborers in Nigeria, and even market people, the poor people, their plight was not considered. Because before you increase fuel, there used to be engagement, you engage all the stakeholders, then you arrive at a price. Now, this one was taken there, and we have been in that 160 something, 100 something naira per liter from 86 naira. Now, the salary of the same people who goes to work and they fill their tank with 85 naira per liter, you don't want them to steal, you don't want them to be corrupted, you want them to do that civil service without stealing. Yet you increase fuel that will take them to their work, including those who don't have car. They will enter public transport, that the transportation has been increased. Their plight was not considered, and you increase it once, and their salary was no increase, and you don't want these guys that are sitting in the offices to steal. You don't want them to put 0 at the back of 100 and make it 1,000. Yet, even the Bible says you don't muzzle the mouth of an animal that is treading the corn. That is why you put an animal in a threshold that is treading the corn, you don't cover his mouth, because as he's threshing the corn, he ought to eat from the corn. Now, after this one, and I told them then that the government is going to 200 naira per liter. Now, the solution they told us while they were campaigning, that when they get into power, we will fix refinery. We were all here when we were told that 1 year, 1 refinery. And why is it that Dangote today have a refinery in Nigeria? Nigeria with all the turnaround maintenance. Let's go back to 2015 and see how much this federal government have used for turnaround maintenance, TAM. What they have used to turn around the refinery, and up to today, we are importing fuel.
Okay. Now, do you seem to suggest that the fuel subsidy remover is not welcomed by you?
I didn't welcome it. Number one is that it is not the fuel subsidy we're talking about. I'm talking about what has led us there.
Okay.
And when they were campaigning, they told us they're going to fix it. Now, can you go back and let us check how much this present federal government has pumped into refinery? Has anybody been arrested that those monies were not utilized? How many of these refineries that are functioning where you put money into something and the thing does not work, and you didn't give the money to angel, you give it to a human being to turn around, and they didn't turn it around? Now, how many of these people that EFCC have taken to court who were given money to turn around this refinery? What I'm saying is that the issue that was used to campaign is that the refineries will be working. Today we have all kinds of refinery that are local refinery and illegal refinery. In a government where a government is thinking out of the box, even though if you cannot build a refinery and you don't want to put money into a refinery, you might decide to gather those who are doing this local refinery and fine-tune them.
Okay.
What I'm bringing out is that it is very wrong to increase the fuel, and this government has been insensitive.
Thank you. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Bishop Austin. Now, there are agitations that even if it has to be increased, it shouldn't be amidst the pandemic. and looking at the fact that it's going to have a reflective case over other goods and services. Don't you think this is worrisome at this time of the pandemic?
When he used the word consultation, there was no constitution. I merely laughed. In constitutionalism, I told you that once upon a time, when fuel was increased, people went to court. It went everywhere, terminated at the Supreme Court, which gave the authority to the Minister of Finance that he has the authority to increase fuel. There's a Supreme Court decision. The point I'm making, if we go to court now to challenge the increase, we will fail. There's already a decided case. And that is declaratory. And when the Supreme Court has given time, you don't start to browbeat. That is one. Two, he used the word consultation. There are provisions for certain issues that are declaratory. In law, when something is declaratory, it is definitive. It is with finality. It's a fait accompli. It is not subject to debate. He is thinking that before you increase fuel, a referendum, a plebiscite, a viva voce exercise will be conducted around Ring Road, Tinubu Square. We ask people, how much do you want to pay for fuel? It is what they now say. It's not everything that you now seek popular. There are, even the constitutions of Tariff give the president the executive power to do something, or are predicated upon the standing legal maximum of Supreme Court, allow him. So there will not be consultation. They are not going to debate it in every House of Assembly to say those who want fuel to be increased, raise up your hand. Nobody will do that. Then, if you go legally, you will fail. Then the second one, if you now demonstrate everywhere, no government will like to be browbeaten or terrorized to the extent that because people are demonstrating in Ovorame Square, the president will now say, okay, I have seen television, people are demonstrating, therefore, the price I mentioned yesterday, I hereby bring it down. No government will do that, because if you subject to that, it will be precedent.
It was done in the time of Jonathan.
Action taken by governments, people will demonstrate, and the government will be forced to apologize.
That is the essence of the movement.
Adam Saliu, yeah, I'll come back to you, Bishop Austin. Adam Saliu, you still have the floor. You still have the floor. Now, aren't you looking in the direction like what he said? The government, before Buhari as president came on board, he came with some promises, and he came with this whole potentialities of ensuring that these promises are met. But now all of this becomes difficult in the sense that the issue of the citizenry, taking this burden, taking this extra burden, extra cost on electricity tariff, extra cost on increase in price of petrol, and where other governments are cushioning the effects of the citizens, looking at the palliatives that they give to citizens amidst the pandemic. Don't you think this is coming at the wrong time?
When you talked of that, we have a legal maxim. Tempus mutator et mutamus in illis, meaning that times change. You have to change with the time. The government came into power bona fide, in good faith, made promises here and there. But when times have changed, you cannot help it. That is why I gave a resume of countries in ordinary West Africa. Nearest to it is Liberia, 257. Highest is Senegal, 549. All other countries, 300, 400. So, and the Naira keep on falling. Oil prices, the price is always rising. So that is where you cannot. Now, it has been subsidized now for 13 years. That is where we are now. And the government decided to remove the subsidy for one and went to 160. And we are even told that it can even go higher. And as I said, it may not be up to 200 as you try to be pessimistic. We should be optimistic. This is our country. Myself too, I bought at Mega at 160. All other stations 162. I'm a poor lawyer and a pensioner. I don't even have the money. But as I said, there are executive decisions that are declaratory. They are not subject to constitution, plebiscite, or referendum to take a cross section before you can fix a price. Nobody does that.
Okay, the presidency has said that the deregulation of the upstream sector, as it has been done, will go a long way to ease of this situation. Don't you think the government should be given time to really look at this aspect?
What I'm saying is that the barrister is talking about law. I'm talking about morality. If a government increase fuel and you as you are now a sitting president, you led a protest then. Nobody put tear gas in your eye. You led a protest that 65 going by this price is wrong. Now you are now in that same position you have occupied for years as Minister of Petroleum. Now that we heard that you do signs and wonder, all the refinery, you were the one that built it during your time. Now you came back. I'm talking about morality now. Talking about the democracy is government of the people. Now my learned brother has spoken about law. If we are going, it is when you have people that you have law ruling over them. If you want to truncate and destroy the life of people, you are ruling over. That you want to govern over. Now you want them to live. Now all other countries give palliative. Some country pay house rent of their citizens. Now here, this federal government now, our palliative is increasing fuel. Our palliative, the same government is feeding school children. When school children are at home, and we are hearing billions of money used to feed school children that are in their father's house with face masks, and they are not in school, but yet they are being fed inside the dream. And money is being allocated for all these things. What I'm saying is that it is an insensitivity on the side of the federal government to use this as a thank you. For so many people have died on this COVID-19. So many people are on admission as we are talking. So many people are going through what they cannot even. How many of them are being treated by government that are being taken care of? That now the best way to say thank you to the masses who voted for you is to increase fuel and increase the bill of light that we are even having dynamics.
Let's see how to put this straight. You still have the floor, Bishop Austin.
Yeah.
Let's see how to put this straight. You made mention of billions of naira, being
for
used for turnaround maintenance of the refineries.
Yes.
And there's this suggestion, there is this idea that the moribund refineries, the underperforming refineries, should be sold out in order to reposition the sector. Don't you think this is the right way to go?
It's a suggestion. I'm talking about if a government is not thinking out of the box. Problem has been before we were created. We were talking about 13 years ago, subsidy have been paid, and government is surviving, and they are paying the subsidy. What I'm saying is that a government must think out of the box, that there's a problem on the ground. No, you see, this government rely on this bottleneck legal power that they can wake up every morning and say something. Now we are talking about consultation. What is the difference between military and democracy? Democracy is that Labour Congress is being put in picture and said, if I take this decision, how will it affect the masses? You don't want civil servants to steal. Now what they used to fill their tank is 10,000, maybe in 2 weeks. We have increased the fuel now, and they will fill their tank with 20,000. Yet you don't want them to steal. Yet you want to use EFCC to cut off their neck. And you are increasing, putting more pain on them. Why their pay take home has not been increased. In another climb, if this kind of thing is going to be done, the government will sit down and look at what is the wages of the people that will buy it. To remove the subsidy is not an issue. But what are the palliative, what are the cushion effect for the civil servant and the entire masses, the poor people in the street? A government that is friendly and is welfare friendly with package will think first, not coming up to remove it because one Supreme Court has given you power to wake up one morning and say it is 230, 400 something naira per liter. The cushion effect for the people that are buying it. Look at the great gift they gave us the other time. They removed 20 naira, be 25 naira. That was not affected in the meter by those who are dispensing the fuel until they came again and increased the fuel. What is the cushion effect?
Thank you.
Now, the cushion effect was what's supposed to have taken place first.
Thank you.
Oh, this is what the federal government want to do for civil servants to add to, because you are talking of increase in food, you are talking of increase in everything, including landlord. They are going to increase for this same labor force.
Thank you. Now, let's look at this. He raised an idea, and looking at palliatives. Now, I think is the right way to go if any government must embark on this, because you did say that even if it gets to court, it's going to meet the bricks.
Obviously,
so what should government do in terms of palliatives?
That's why they are doing what they are doing.
For palliatives,
yes,
I support free housing, free education, free medical services.
Would that come just now?
And free transportation.
Would that come just now?
Even if,
after this 10 years,
even if it's not free, it should be well subsidized. It's a different kettle of fish entirely, all these policies you are talking about. But what he does not understand is the dichotomy between executive powers, constitutional powers, and plebiscite powers. As a layman, he thinks that any government action should be put into debate.
I'm not talking of debates, sir. I'm talking of the mindset of a government that want to help the people.
And that they will, when the people are voted, we want to pay 10 naira per litre. After taking that suggestion for before they can come out.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Adams, you agree that what you just, I'll come back to you. You agree, Adams, that what you just said now concerning free housing, medical care. You agree that cannot be arrived at just now. Do you agree that cannot be arrived at just now?
It can be subsidized.
Do you also agree that some persons are saying that, okay, while we are looking at the palliatives, let government revert back to the way the price was, and then set out modalities to cushion the effect before increasing it? Don't you think that is another right way to go?
In administration, it is not done for the government to apologize, to say, pursuant to the people whom I saw demonstrating yesterday, I hereby revert to such and so. No government will do that. No government.
Jonathan government reversed the price.
No government.
We were all here.
Jonathan, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Shout of the people.
I'll come back to you.
The same people that shouted there. Where are they?
You made mention of some policies that are obnoxious.
Yeah.
In this regard, how do you see this?
Now, he tried to talk of crimes. He did not specify. I gave a resume, a litany of Gabon, Ghana, Liberia, Senegal. The price is there. We did the research and comparative analysis.
Okay.
So, but he tried to talk of some utopian, non-mentioning, non-specific places, maybe where fuel is free. It is not so. And as I said, times change, and you have to change with the time. When the dollar falls, and our naira rises, the market forces will not determine the price. And as I said, when there is constant electricity, now, res ipsa loquitur, the case, the fact will speak for itself. People will not complain. It is this privatization of November 1, 2013, which put electricity in the hands of major companies, and now they don't have enough prepaid meters. They give estimated billing, which is wrong, and that is where that fault is coming from.
Okay, so you see that as obnoxious? You see that aspect as obnoxious?
It is offensive, yes, so to say.
Okay. Now, the presidency did say that they are protecting Nigerians who do not enjoy up to 12 hours a day of electricity. And those Nigerians, those consumers who don't enjoy this, will not be made to get this adjustment on the tariff that they'll pay on the tariff increase. But those who have minimum of 12 hours and above a day of electricity supply could be made to pay this increase. Don't you think that is a laudable one?
I can't believe anything, sir. Okay. You see, like my learned brother is talking here, you don't talk for me. You don't say, I want people in Ring Road to gather together and go, a president will consult them before he takes decision. This is democracy, and it is not Buhari that voted himself. People voted for him. He cannot print and vote himself and say, one vote makes me president. Now what I'm saying, I'm not saying go to street, go and call beggar and call people in Kano Street to come and say, we want to increase fuel. What is the difference between a friendly government and a government that is not caring for its people? In the days of Jonathan, people shouted for 7 days, including lawyers who are from his own constituency. They came and shouted after 7 days, the federal government revert the price. It is not a sign of weakness for a government to listen to his masses. It is an act of dictatorial leadership for somebody to say when government take a decision. Government is not God.
But can't you also give a second thought? Can't you also give a second thought to this mode that the government is using to kind of reduce the burden on those who do not get up to 12 hours.
What is the mode?
Don't you think that is the way to go? At least if you are able to get more of electricity supply, then you should be made to also pay the increase.
Me, Austin, I'm speaking for the poor masses.
Just like me.
The lawyer is speaking for the government.
That
is why he's quoting Cote d'Ivoire, quoting Sierra Leone, quoting everywhere.
Lawyers are poor people.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm talking for the masses that if you can have boldness to wake up and increase fuel, and yet you did not think, what I said is that this government must think about these people that want to buy this fuel. Where would they get the money? Would they not go back and steal from the government? And a cushion effect is what's supposed to come first.
If they go back and steal, then they will cut.
If they are caught, now we see in Nigeria here where somebody steal phone and is being sentenced, and governors are sitting down, and people are in government are stealing, and yet it is even we here who are shouting for this government of righteousness to be able to see people where people are stealing. It is we that are shouting. And at times we shout for 1 year before they will be able to look at the case we are talking about. That is government of righteousness. I'm talking about a government that loves its people and wants all other countries all over the world give palliative. Our Nigerian national in other country are giving palliative in country in Dubai, another country. What I'm saying is that our own palliative here is that you are going to give us light. Somebody promised you to give you money to pay bride price. He didn't attend your traditional wedding and he did not give you money. When you see him now, he now tell you, say your baby dedication, say now he will sponsor her. Do you want to believe the person? What I'm saying is that we have not seen the light of that you are talking about that is going to be partially for some persons. When this same government want to increase train, they said train that Jonathan set up that time, rich people are entering it. And the mindset of who did the train then was that to pick people from Kaduna and work in Abuja and return back. But we end up seeing a minister of transport that said rich people are not entering the train, so it's a yardstick to take it up so that the poor masses who ought to enter the train will not be able to enter it. What I'm saying is that I didn't see truth in all these things. If there is a truth, you will first of all do your palliative.
Well, I don't want to interrupt
the palliative is very important because we have started buying it now. We have started buying it now. What other palliative that is coming is going to come after 4 years when people have suffered inside it. You said you want to say people that have 12 hours are the people that is going to be involved. Well, have we gotten the light that you are talking that people want to pay now? As we are talking now.
But is that not considerate? Is that not considerate?
It's considerate.
Remember vividly that some Nigerians are saying that, well, if we get this electricity supply continuously, then we will be ready to pay. Now, if that becomes the mode
this
that the government is using,
increase VAT.
Don't you think that is the right way to go?
For the rich.
Okay,
it is not for the poor.
Okay, I'll come back to you.
VAT was increased by this same government.
I'll come back to you.
Did you remember? And they were telling us that the VAT is because of the rich people, that the poor people are not going to be affected.
I'll come back.
Is anybody not affected now?
I'll come back to you. Now, Adam Saliu, there is this issue whereby we have issues of paying for prepaid meters, because the government did say that there should be provisions of meters by discos. And looking at that, one thing is for the people to pay, and even the masses are involved in this. Yeah. And also at the same time, if they are opportunity to get 12 hours of electricity supply in a day, they are going to get increase in the money they're going to be paying for tariff. Don't you think all of this, alongside the fuel subsidy removed and the effect of the increase on these masses, don't you think that could be closer? What do you think that should be done? What should be done in that direction?
The power distribution company that was supposed to give prepaid meters. I know people who paid for prepaid meters and they didn't get, and they keep on bringing estimated billing. Okay. That one is unfortunate and condemnable. It's a different thing entirely.
You don't blame the government for that?
You don't blame the government for the meter to be which was privatized to companies November 1, 2013. Those are those directly in charge now.
Okay, but do you see the core investors in that distribution value chain component of the electricity sector? Do you see some of these investors as having the wherewithal, capacity-wise, financial-wise, technical-wise, to really revamp this?
That is their own fault, and that was their promise. So now they are to supply enough meters because Nigerian population is increasing. More people are using electrical appliances, and so it is that one that is faulty, and that rests in the bosom of the distribution companies.
What do you think should be done in that direction to revive it?
The distribution companies should be made to make amends and put palliatives. It's different from the governmental palliatives. I am in support of free housing, free education, free health. If not free, it should be well subsidized. And the government is to do that. They will not wait till they go away after 4 years. There will be other palliatives. It's not always the position to be negative and pessimistic and condemning every action. Amen. But the main fact is that a referendum, a plebiscite cannot be conducted to ascertain the price of fuel, because we are in a judicial system, we are in a legal system, we are bound, the court is there. I cited countries and they have money for per liter. He did not cite anyone where fuel will be less than 160, so that he only used an imaginary definition to say other crimes. So what happens is that times change, and you have to change with the times. Some principles are declaratory. If it's declaratory, it's definitive, it's judgmental, it's not subject to debate. And it should not be seen that everything a referendum should be contained in the House of Assembly should vote for it. That's not how to run the government. Okay,
thank you. Bishop Austin Basa, what's your assessment of the labor unions who proposed to go on a peaceful protest today?
To me, I see the labor union as a toothless bulldog. They have been castrated by this government before they are take off. And if you look at it, that you have not, if you look at all the noise of labor union, it has always end up, as far as this government is concerned, it has always end up in the trash can. And so whatever the labor union is saying now will not hold ground, because they succeeded to tear them apart before the takeoff of this government. The government succeeded to tear them apart, and the reason being that they knew what they are going to do ahead. And you see, when unity was found in the Bible says for the first time, even God stopped what he was doing in heaven to come and look at the earth and said, the people are one, and they have made up their mind to build and come and meet me. Protest has started in the Bible. People want to build toward to go and meet God and tell God, I need rain, I need this one, I need that.
So that they can just face God.
Yes, they want to face
issues
out
directly.
So protests have been in the Bible.
Okay.
So, but this government now is a government that does not, you can see my legal brother now, say I'm quoting imaginary something, and everything he quoted is right. And that is why this same government can wake up tomorrow by Supreme Court order and make the fuel 350, because they have been given the power, legal power, but the masses, how the people feel is not an issue. Now COVID-19 is all over the place. And our thank you for sustaining. If this government have the same crisis,
okay, what's your plea? What's your plea? What's your plea? What do you see as the way? What do you see as the way forward to ameliorate this issue?
The way forward, sir. I won't tell you that the way forward. To me, the way forward is not even for the labor union. It's for the whole masses. The masses. As far as labor union is concerned, I've given you instances. It is not going to work, because the time they had power is before this government came into place. But for now, whatever the labor will say, look at my brother, I said something just now. Say, how can you bamboozle a government to reverse its decision? And in democracy, is that an atom of democracy, that when somebody wake up, this same president woke up after people took decision in National Assembly to do electoral law, and everybody discussed. And when he got to the front of the man stopped it. He said, I'm not convinced by what 109 senators, including the people in his own party, that have sat down to discuss. So what I'm saying is that whatever the labor, he has concluded here that no government should allow people to bamboozle him. Even to him now, he sees that government is always right in their decision.
Now
even when God, you said it, you said,
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Please. I'll come back to you. You said, just let him finish. Let him finish, then you play the issue.
Me, I said just like say consultation, but you helped me to analyze it to ring grow. I
asked you the way forward. Bishop Austin, I asked you the way forward.
The way forward is that you see Nigeria Nigerians...
Except you're looking at the National Assembly also engaging the executive in this direction. Because the National Assembly is also feeling that.
They are representing us. How many of us we are the one? How many members of us National Assembly that it is even with the masses that nominated them to represent us when they started from their party primary, that it is the choice of the people. So let us put that one aside. I think Nigerians themselves, we have got it to a level. Nigerians themselves must stand up. We are talking about National Assembly. We are all here, seated here.
And continue to engage their leaders in the constructive...
Is it not the same government? The same government.
Yes, in the best way.
National Assembly was surrounded with gun. But because they are coming, a woman in Port Harcourt have to stand.
No. He never mentioned that. He never mentioned that. He never mentioned that. He never mentioned that, please. He never mentioned that.
Don't put words into my mouth. Okay, round up, please. What I'm saying is that the masses themselves, the masses must take their destiny by hand. We will come out to protest. If you are waiting
peaceful protest, continue to engage the lawmakers.
The sitting president today protested against 65 naira per liter. We have it on internet. We have it everywhere. All of us were here then. Why is it that all the things that were done before by people who are in power now, who challenge people in power?
Thank you.
Pastor Tunde Bakare was there. Sami Falana was there. All the people that many of them are still alive.
Thank you. I'll come back to you to say your final words on this segment. I'll come back to you to say your final words on this segment. Is there anything wrong? Is there anything wrong to have a peaceful protest?
Okay.
Adams Ali.
Now, you said peaceful protest. Once upon a time, somebody even used the phraseology, revolution now. Now you don't like the legislators whom you voted to power who are representing you, labor leaders who you equally voted who represent the masses, you don't like them, the government you voted for, democratically elected, you don't like them. Everything is negative. I support the labor union. You were talking of peaceful protest.
I wasn't talking of peaceful protests. I was saying, is there anything wrong? Because he mentioned the fact that they should come, they should stand up.
Listen to the answer now. If you want to protest, there's a modus operandi. You apply to the police that you want to have people protest. Police will grant you permission. You get me? Then you protest. People have successfully protested. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was killed. But when you take the laws into your hand, you try to stop people from going to work. You try to say vehicles cannot move. You are calling for revolution here and now. That is treason. And a sitting government with the paraphernalia of office will not allow a group of people to stop government and put in anarchy and lawlessness. We want peace. Nothing wrong with peaceful protest. Write to the police that you want to protest. The police will approve it in as much as it's peaceful.
Is it police that
what's your advice to the labor unions?
To give
what's your advice?
The last judgment in Ilorin, there's a judgment of Court of Appeal of Ilorin on that speaks about protest. What I see is police covering, but that judgment did not say people take permission from police to protest. What the judgment says is that people get police covering protection so that it will not be hijacked by other people who are miscreant. Not be hijacked.
Not to take
police
permission.
Giving you permission to protest.
Let's hear from the constitutional lawyer. I think he's the constitutional lawyer. I think he's the constitutional direction.
This is a particular judgment of Court of Appeal.
So he just quoted a particular judgment of the Court of Appeal.
He didn't give permission.
Okay, let him speak on it. Speak on it, please.
When you say permission,
if assembly is unlawful,
yes,
you gather people armed with all materials and without permission, it is unlawful. And
without permission.
So
they must take permission.
You have to obtain permission and not only that, if the assembly is lawful, there's freedom of movement, freedom of association. Chapter 4 of the Constitution entitles you to do that. But the protest has to be harmless and innocuous, and it has to be the assembly, an illegal assembly. You understand this? You know, ordinary civilians, we can meet, act in concert. If policemen and soldiers meet to plan against the state, the word is mutiny. Because it's not the same. So a group of people cannot gather unlawfully armed and try to hold the country to ransom. People should not go to work.
Okay, what's your advice to the labor unions in this direction?
The labor union leaders are our own representative. I was a unionist when I was working. So they are doing the right thing. If our labor leaders equally apply to government and police to the employer that we want to demonstrate such and such, they even give ultimatum to say we want to give warning strike on such and such a day. So there's nothing wrong with it. It is peaceful approach that will be the solution. Taking laws into your hand, unlawful assembly, instant revolution will not be the panacea to our present situation. And the government has the prerogative constitutionally not to subject everything to a referendum or plebiscite.
Thank you. Your final words on this, Bishop Boston.
What I say is that the people will engage their government. Like my learned brother said, I said, it is not permission. That was what I disagree with that. It is police that give permission to do protests. It is police coverage. You need police coverage. That is what the judgment of Court of Appeal.
You apply for police to
cover so that it will not be hijacked. But the word permission means that it is police that grant
if it turns violence, if the protest turns violent, what would the police do?
The police covering is to make sure that what you want to do. What I'm saying, you are saying permissions
to make sure it turns out peaceful.
And others are not coming to hijack it.
Not necessarily to take permission from the police.
Permission allow me to do protest. Okay. It's not permission. I disagree with it.
Thank you. I think
I'm talking about you are a lawyer, and I'm also quoting the judgment of Court of Appeal that it is not, they didn't give police power to give permission. It is police covering for peaceful protest.
Thank you. I think we can stretch.
You now put it right.
We can stretch this limit here. So
you have to inform them, not permission.
Permission is provocative to him. So you have to
inform the police, not
that the law enforcement agency that is in charge of security.
Yes. And when you inform the police, you wait for approval.
Yeah,
you will
give people to guide you. It's not permission. You inform them. That's why I want to correct, because a substituting judgment of Court of Appeal is starting to say the police don't have that power.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we, the masses, market women, everybody, we must know that it is time to, if we are not comfortable, we need to cry out. Democracy. No.
Let me finish. I'll come back to you, please. Let's not be rowdy.
Matter to revolution now. It's not what I said.
Okay.
Please, and don't take word from my mouth. What I'm saying is that the people should be able to cry out when they are paid. The essence of democracy is to be able to. It's not suffering and smiling. Every avenue to say, government, we are not comfortable with this one. We want you to
using the right channel that will not result to violence.
Thank you. But you to say,
respecting constituted authorities.
I'm a man of God. Would I say people should carry revolution now? So don't do what you do my mouth.
Thank you.
So I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But for us to be silent, even on this station now, I can't quote what I want to quote because there is a law against you people that when Igbasa say it is his own law. It was not there before. We have freedom of information. The act that was signed into law that permit me to say something freely, to express myself.
So but just like you now know, it's better to be guarded.
But it's not to be guarded. It's not to be guarded. In the other government, I remember they call a sitting president fool. They call him an entity. Those who are PhD, who are in politics,
if it is slander, if it is calumny,
but we can't do all of that. We can't do all of that.
If it is slander,
thank you.
It is calumny.
I've taken that as a final words.
Yes.
Except you still want to say one or two.
What I say is that even Donald Trump, people talk to him, they abuse him, he didn't kill them.
You've said that.
In a civilized, they are more civilized than us. So if we have not gotten there, let us not look government as infallible. God is only God that is infallible. Government can make mistakes. We have the right to challenge the government.
Thank you. Thank you. Adam Saliu, your final words. Adam Saliu has the floor.
Every rule has an exception. Freedom of speech, encapsulated in Chapter 4, does not allow you to be slander, calumny, blackmail. If you do that, it is actionable. We are in a civilized, democratic, lawful society, not lawless society.
We are not civilized, we are just deceiving ourselves.
Thank you, big thanks, Adam Saliu, ex-SSA to the governor of Edo State on legal matters and constitutional lawyer, Notary Republic of Nigeria. Thanks for pulling through on this show. A big thanks to you, Bishop Austin Igbasan, who is the General Overseer of Sword of Liberation Bible Church, an articulate public affairs analyst. And I understand that there are agitations within you, but thank you for taking our time to be here and to ensure that your utterances are guarded. Big thanks. All right, big thanks. Viewers, this where we call it a wrap on the discussion segment. It's still TMI. Don't you go away.